Missiles are flying again. But this time, not to start a war, rather, to test the limits of a ceasefire. On June 24, President Donald Trump announced that Iran and Israel had agreed to stand down. A diplomatic breakthrough. A moment of calm in the middle of the storm. But just hours later, Israel accused Iran of breaking the deal. Iran denied it. And Trump, instead of siding with his longtime ally, turned around and scolded Israel. Around the same time, Iran declared, "We are not halting our nuclear program. The 60% enriched uranium stockpile remains unaccounted for. And the IAEA, the UN's nuclear watchdog, has been pushed out of the picture. So what is this really? Peace? Or just a pause before something worse?" Underscore 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 on. President Trump's announcement was clear. Iran and Israel had reached a ceasefire agreement after nearly 2 weeks of escalating attacks. According to Trump, this was the result of emergency negotiations involving Qatar, the UAE, and several European states. Israel agreed to halt its strikes, but only if Iran stopped first, by noon. Iran, without signing anything, reportedly gave a verbal yes. Trump posted online, "Total victory. We have avoided war." But within 12 hours, everything changed. Israel reported that rockets had been fired from Iranian territory into northern Israel. Most were intercepted. No casualties. But still a clear breach. And the first response didn't come from Israel. It came from Trump himself. He posted, "Iran has violated the agreement. But I'm also very unhappy with Israel." All caps. A signal Trump was losing patience. Not just with Iran, but with his own ally. Underscore 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 on. In the past 2 weeks, Donald Trump has bombed Iran's nuclear facilities, declared a ceasefire, thanked Iran, and now, he's publicly calling out Israel. To his America First base, Trump needs to show he can control the Middle East without dragging the US into another war. But to the hawks in the Republican Party, especially the pro-Israel factions, he's being seen as too soft. Some even say, he's betraying an ally. So Trump keeps posting, trying to reframe himself as the one holding the balance. On June 24, just hours after announcing peace, he wrote in all caps, "Israel, do not drop those bombs." And then, Trump posted again, "Both sides have violated the agreement. I am not happy with either Israel or Iran. But here's the problem. Israel never saw the ceasefire as legally binding. And Iran never signed anything at all. To both sides, it was nothing more than a tactical pause, not a real agreement." Trump wants to project the image of a president who brought peace. But to protect that image, he now needs to control 2 nations that have never been controllable, not even by the United States. Some analysts are calling this Trump's strategic trap. If he gets tough on Iran, he loses his mediator status. If he goes soft on Iran, he's accused of abandoning Israel. And if he scolds both sides, well, neither side listens. Meanwhile, Iran's nuclear program continues. And Israel, with or without US consent, can still act on its own. Underscore 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 on. So why did the US and Israel focus so heavily on striking Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan? Because the real target wasn't buildings. It wasn't even centrifuges. It was the stockpile of uranium enriched to 60%, just one final step from becoming weapons grade. According to the IAEA, Iran had 409 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium before the conflict began. Enough to produce about 10 nuclear bombs, if pushed to 90% enrichment. And now, that stockpile is gone. Satellite images revealed that just before the U.S. airstrikes, a fleet of large trucks was seen outside the Fordow facility. By the time the bombs dropped, they were gone. Israeli intelligence was blunt. The uranium has been moved. Other reports claim it was divided into 16 steel cylinders, each weighing about 25 kilograms, small enough to be loaded onto trucks, or even carried by hand. Iran didn't deny it. They simply said, "We've taken special measures to secure our nuclear materials." And the IAEA, the only agency with global inspection rights, admitted, "We lost track of the uranium stockpile on June 10th. Which means the world has no idea where it is, whether it was destroyed, or how it's now being protected." The US government? Divided. Some senators claim the uranium is still buried under rubble. But Vice President J.D. Vance publicly stated, "The uranium remains under Iran's control, and that is our most serious concern right now." To put it simply, you can destroy the infrastructure. You can take out the scientists. You can even smash the centrifuges. But as long as the uranium survives, Iran can rebuild somewhere else, sometime later. It's like destroying the shell of a bomb, but leaving the explosives intact. And that's why even after the bombs have fallen, even after a ceasefire has been declared, this nuclear game is far from over. In today's conflict, Iran doesn't need to win on the battlefield. It just needs to survive long enough and hold onto its uranium to win the strategic war. When Israel struck central Tehran, and when US bunker busters hit Fordow, Iran didn't launch a massive counterattack. They fired a few symbolic missiles. Caused no casualties. Avoided escalation. But at the same time, they declared publicly, "We will not abandon our nuclear program. We will not surrender." Even former President Raisi, before his death in a helicopter crash, once said, "Iran does not seek nuclear weapons, but we will not let others decide our limits." What does that mean? It means Iran is willing to play the part of restraint just to buy time. Avoid a large-scale response. Keep its nuclear assets intact. And possibly shift its program into a more secretive, decentralized mode. Recent reports suggest Iran is no longer concentrating its enrichment program in one place. Instead, it's building a network of scattered enrichment sites, storing uranium in smaller batches, hidden across multiple underground locations under the label of civilian or research use. Some analysts call this the North Korea model. A deliberate strategy of ambiguity. Not admitting to having nuclear weapons, but never denying it either. So why is Iran choosing such a dangerous path? The answer may be brutally simple. Because it doesn't trust the US. And because it believes that only the fear of a bomb earns it respect on the world stage. And in a moment where the US, Israel, and Europe are divided, this strategy of staying tense without exploding may be Iran's best shot at survival, leverage, and eventual recovery. From the outside, this looks like a U.S. Iran standoff. But underneath, it's a three-way chess match: Trump, Iran, and Israel, each with their own goals. And none of them fully trust the others. Trump wants to show he can solve the Middle East crisis without another war. He wants Iran and Israel to play along so he can tell voters he kept the peace. But Israel refuses to take a backseat. They believe only real military action hitting nuclear facilities hard can stop Iran. They don't trust ceasefires. They don't trust the IAEA. And frankly, they don't fully trust Trump anymore. Iran, meanwhile, is playing its own game. Take the hits to survive. Hold onto uranium to bargain. Step down just enough to regroup for the next phase. The IAEA has been sidelined. Russia and China stay silent. The Gulf states are too busy protecting their own stability. And so, the world is now watching a game of unprecedented risk, where no one's clearly winning. But everyone may pay the price if it goes wrong. The bombs have fallen. The ceasefire signed only with words is in place. But the uranium still exists. And behind the scenes, every player is quietly preparing for the next round. Trump doesn't know if he should strike again. Iran doesn't know whether to go public or go dark. And Israel? Israel is ready to act with or without permission. The big question now is not who will win, but rather, can anyone control themselves, before it all spirals out of control? What do you think about this three-sided nuclear chess game? Is Iran's missing uranium a strategic failure or the opening move of a much larger negotiation? And if you were in charge, what would you do with an opponent willing to live in the gray zone? Let us know in the comments. And if this video helped you see beyond the headlines, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more.